It is now or never. It is all or nothing. We have a date with destiny. Other dramatic cliched sentences. No, we genuinely are about to play the biggest game of the series so far. That's right, it is Arsenal versus Crystal Palace in the FA Cup final in a game that will not only determine who wins the trophy and who qualifies for Europe next season, but also whether or not we keep our job. Our one non-negotiable objective this season was to qualify for Europe, and sitting in 11th place in the Premier League with just 5 games left to play, winning the FA Cup is our one avenue into doing that. So that game against Arsenal at Wembley will be our featured game in today's episode. I'll show you highlights of our 2 other home fixtures against our other 2 most difficult opponents in Manchester United and Liverpool, and we'll be quick simming the other 3 Premier League games against Aston Villa, against Newcastle, and then rounding out Season 3 against Luton Town. And because it is the final episode of the season, we'll also be going over the final standings and statistics. We'll be handing out some awards for things like Player of the Season, Goal of the Season, and if we do lose this game against Arsenal, we'll also be opening that Enigma Football mystery box to find out who our next career mode team will be. Losing not on the agenda here today though, and we will look to get off to a good start as we travel to Villa Park, and we get off to a very good start. It's a 7-goal thriller, and we come out on top after 2 goals from Giannis Konstantelius, another from our other winger Luka Koleosho, and Milan Van Eyck comes up with the 89th minute winner. And I know I said it as a joke in the intro, but it really does feel like we have a date with destiny. We are heading into our 3rd month unbeaten now. We haven't lost since February the 24th. However, that loss was against Arsenal. Hopefully that's not an omen for today's episode. And fortune continues to favour us as we head into our 2nd game of the episode against Manchester United. Daniel Munoz has returned from his injury. So although he scored in the previous game, Milan Van Eyck will make way for Munoz so we can get him fully sharp for that matchup against Arsenal. With Rasmus Højlund moving on to Bournemouth in one of the more bizarre transfers of the save, it's up to Joshua Zirkzee to lead the line for United, and he proved a handful, to be fair. His first shot didn't test Dean Henderson, but his second certainly did. The former United man equal to it at the near post. But unfortunately, it would be Daniel Munoz who had the biggest impact in the first half, cutting down Jadon Sancho in the box. And there was, of course, only going to be one outcome. Bruno Fernandes dispatched the penalty with aplomb. But we were very much still in the game, and we pressed United for an equaliser in the second half. And when Daichi Kamada picked up the same little pocket of space that Adam Wharton had done only moments earlier, he thought himself lucky that goal of the season has not yet been voted on because he scored an absolute banger in off the post to make it 1-1. But regardless, the game would end in disappointment. A long free kick from a fairly innocuous area found Joshua Zirkzee. Dean Henderson caught off his line in no man's land again, and United would run out 2-1 winners. So our 10-game unbeaten run does come to a disappointing end, but we'll look to get back on track as we take on Liverpool at Selhurst Park. It's a heavily rotated 11 for this one, with that Arsenal game just a couple of days away. So Van Eyck, Chris Richards, Roscoe Torres, William Davidson, Joe Bellingham, and Ismaila Sarr all come in for this one. Lucas Stassin also leads the line up front. We might have had a significantly weaker team than Liverpool on paper, but that didn't stop us from taking the lead just 2 minutes into the game as Joe Bellingham's shot was deflected up and over the Liverpool keeper. So we were fortunate to be ahead in the game, and we were fortunate to still be ahead in the game after we allowed David Raum to wriggle through and get his shot away. Fortunately, he put it over. Tammy Abraham has been quiet in recent episodes, and that spell continued here. He hit the post with his initial header and had a chance to make amends for that as Leif Davis barreled down the left-hand side and found him alone in the box, but he put this one wide of the post. And ultimately, we would come to rue those missed opportunities because Liverpool levelled with one of the best goals I've seen the CPU score this year. It was a pinpoint ball to find the striker at the back post, who unleashed a venomous volley into the far corner. So it was another game in which we failed to come away with the victory, but a point against Liverpool is certainly a good result. And you can't deny the quality of the equalising goal. So if we are going to fail to win the game, at least let's make these teams work for it, which we certainly did. And although we only managed to take a point, that was 2 good performances against tough opposition, and it does see us draw level on points with West Ham in 10th position. It does also give us some confidence heading into our toughest game, our biggest game of the series so far. So without further ado, let's head over to Wembley to take on Arsenal in the FA Cup final. So here we go, the culmination of all of our hard work over the last 3 seasons. We have, of course, made it to this stage before, but were cruelly defeated by Liverpool. However, we are looking to make amends for that here today as we take on Arsenal in the final of the FA Cup, and immediately Luka Koleosho is going to be in behind. Kieran Tierney, the left back for Arsenal today. Koleosho once more. Tammy Abraham turns it towards goal. And saved by Kepa. It looks on the surface to be a fairly weak defensive 4 for Arsenal. We do know, however, that De Jong, the youth academy product of Arsenal, is significantly higher overall than you would imagine. As Arsenal get their first shot of the game away. Comfortable save for Dean Henderson, though. De Jong is well into the 80s in terms of his overall. So the fact that William Saliba, Mohamed Simikan are on the bench is maybe not quite as much of a surprise as it may seem at first glance. I think potentially Kieran Tierney is the weak link that we could exploit, though. Especially with the pace of Luka Koleosho. That's a great challenge there, though, from Tierney. And going forward, Arsenal certainly aren't weak. And they are already 1-0 up. An unbelievable front 3. Rafael Leao, Diogo Jota, and we have seen, of course, Bukayo Saka round out that front 3 in the past. Today it's Marcus Edwards. But it is Leao and Diogo Jota that combine. It's another pinpoint ball. It's very similar to the goal that we saw Liverpool equalise with in the last game. A long diagonal ball from that left-hand side towards the back post, where it's met on the half volley this time. But after a pretty bright start to the game, Arsenal have already shown their quality. And we are a goal down. That is really the difference between us and teams like Liverpool, Arsenal, Manchester United. It's that quality in the final third. Tammy Abraham certainly hasn't had it in recent games, but he has it here. What a finish. And within seconds, we are back level. Tammy Abraham has been very, very quiet in recent episodes. And we saw against Liverpool, he missed a couple of, not sitters exactly, but opportunities that you would see him dispatch more often than not. This is one that you would not see him dispatch more often than not, but this time he has put it right into the top corner. And he has drawn us level within 10 minutes at Wembley. What a start to the game. scored in the 10th minute, just 2 minutes after that Arsenal opener. And if we can be a little more solid at the back than we have been in these opening 10 minutes and keep the likes of Rafael Leao, Martin Odegaard quiet. Oh, it's proving difficult though. Arsenal, as they do, just pull you this way and then that. Open up the space by threatening the shot, but then play the pass back the way that you've back into the space that you've just vacated. Such a difficult team to defend against. Daniel Munoz has stepped up to challenge Leao there. Has given up that space in behind initially, but he does well to recover. We could have Tammy Abraham in behind here. Tammy Abraham against Kieran Tierney. He's not going to have the pace, Abraham, but he's certainly going to have the strength. He does have the feet to get it onto his left. Gets a shot away. Constantelius too with the follow-up. Oh, and that's dangerous. Tammy has left one on Kepa there as he tried to block the clearance. I think it's likely going to be a booking for Abraham once play stops. But I think he was entitled to try and get a foot on that. And we will just go back to Dean Henderson and slow the game down slightly here. Chalobah will find Munoz. Koleosho just about keeps it in play. I see that run, Kamada. And I appreciate that run. Not the right pass to play at this particular time, though. I think we just need to settle things down a little bit after that unbelievably frantic opening 10 minutes. And I think we just need to breathe, because 8 minutes into the game, a goal down, it was looking like things could fall apart for us sooner rather than later. Luca Koleosho. Kieran Tierney has stepped up. He's got Calafiori to beat, though. And again, it's Kieran Tierney. We talked him down early in the game. But he's made a couple of good challenges. That was a recovery challenge, to be fair. And it was a challenge that he had to make to correct for an error that he'd made moments earlier. Can Abraham get there? Not quite. He's got to be careful not to leave one on Kepa this time, because as we said, there surely is going to be a booking. And we don't want Abraham to commit a second bookable offence before he's even been shown the first yellow card. Munoz does well just to hold up Leao, but there again is Martin Odegaard. Has the beating of Kamada. And there's a good block by Chalobah. Does fall to Diogo Jota, though. And Odegaard gets the shot away this time. Parried away now by Dean Henderson, and we do see the yellow card for Tammy Abraham. Tchouameni, of course, starting in midfield for Arsenal today as well. It was that front six last time we played them that was just so unbelievably just elite. Tchouameni, Odegaard. I can't remember who the third midfielder was last time we played them. And then, of course, they had Saka up front alongside Jota and Leao. Not quite as strong today with Marcus Edwards. But still a tough test for any defence. Nice little turn from Kamada. And he has runners either side of him. One of whom is Luca Koleosho. He does turn away from Kieran Tierney. He does find Tammy Abraham. He finds Leif Davis at the back post. And his shot is a poor one. Needed to hit across that. Or fire the ball across goal at least. Maybe he did hit across the ball there, which caused it to slice out of play. Leif Davis a little complacent at the moment as well, apparently. We have maybe talked him up in press conferences a little too much. I haven't had too many players on complacent, so I'm not sure how much of an impact really it has on their performance. So we'll have to monitor that over the course of the game. Dayashimi finds Constantelius. Drives at the Arsenal back line. Squirms away from Odegaard. Just didn't really have the pace on the shot to really test Kepa. It was a fairly comfortable save. But Leif Davis will deliver the corner. Lacroix can't get there at the near post, but Constantelius will bring it down. Gets the shot away. as does Kamada, but again it's blocked. And hooked clear by Arsenal. And Munoz has gone down, and that is not a good sign because Milan van Ewijk was also injured earlier in the episode, and as Jota makes it 2-1. An absolutely disastrous, it's not Jota this time, it's Marcus Edwards. An absolutely disastrous sequence of events because we had a chance to take the lead there on a couple of occasions, not only with the corner, but with those shots that were ultimately blocked by Arsenal. Daniel Munoz goes down during the counter-attack, so we may be without a right-back now. And then Marcus Edwards puts Arsenal back in front. We'll have to check in on Daniel Munoz, who is nursing an injury, because Milan van Ewijk broke his toe in a previous game. So he's not even on the bench today. So if Daniel Munoz has to go off, it's probably going to be, that's a poor pass, Leif Davis. Maybe a little bit of that complacency creeping in. It would probably have to be Trevor Chalobah to play right back. It would either be that or Roscoe Torres to come on. Doesn't really have a right foot though, Roscoe Torres. Munoz is able to continue, so perhaps it's not severe enough to force him off the field. Kamada wins the header. Wharton tries to knock it down to Kamada again. Can't quite find him. And Marcus Edwards absolutely sells Maxence Lacroix. Jota wriggles away from Chalobah. There's some big save by Dean Henderson, keeping us in it at the moment. But Martin Ødegaard will deliver the corner for Arsenal. And he will go short to Marcus Edwards this time. Kamada stops him at the byline. But Arsenal have the ball in the box. They do get a shot away, but it's a laughable attempt from the Arsenal youngster. So all is not yet lost by any means. It's not looking great. 2-1 down. And almost certainly without a right back for the remainder of the game. But we are only a goal down. We have shown some promise going forward for sure. It's not as if we have failed to create opportunities in this first half. We won't find Munoz there. I thought it was a nice ball from Wharton, slipped into the path of Munoz. Oh, and Trevor Chalobah is beaten by Rafael Leao. And it goes out for another Arsenal corner. Holly Glasner. Oh, it doesn't. It goes out for a goal kick. But Holly Glasner there potentially instructing William Davidson on how he might fit into that right back role. As Munoz can't get there. That pass was intended for Munoz, but he's just standing clutching his arm. And Henderson makes a big save. And Lacroix heads clear. Henderson, a big save from the initial shot. Leao picked up the rebound. And it looked as though we might have an empty net to put that into. But Lacroix, thankfully, manages to head clear. There's a ball into the path of Tammy Abraham. Daichi Kamada. And there's Leif Davis on the far side. Brings it down on his chest. Pulls it back across goal. And it does fall to Tammy Abraham, and Kamada will be able to get the shot away, and it's saved by Kepa. Decent enough shot from Kamada. Again, maybe not the pace on it to really test the Arsenal keeper. And it is going to be William Davidson on to replace Daniel Munoz, forced off through injury. So William Davidson, as ever, willing to do whatever it takes to help out the team, steps into another new role. He's played countless roles for us over the course of the series, and it's going to be yet another new one for him today as he steps in at right back. However, Daniel Munoz, as Arsenal were in behind, Diogo Jota. It's a good challenge, Trevor Chalobah. Diogo Jota, nope, he is not on our team. Daniel Munoz, and now William Davidson. That role is set to wing back and support. So the role of that player, as we see Davidson here, is to step up into midfield and kind of provide a third body in that area of the field alongside Adam Wharton and Daichi Kamada. So that's why I feel more confident putting Davidson in that position rather than somebody like a Trevor Chalobah. Chalobah the better defender, but I think Davidson is going to be a capable defender down that right-hand side, although it is Rafael Leao that he's going to be paired up against. And he's going to step up into midfield, and he'll certainly be suitable for that particular role. Roscoe Torres, the other option. Not the best defender. I don't love the idea of him paired up against Leao. And I don't love the idea of him stepping up into midfield. Just one-footed, and it is left-footed on the right-hand side of midfield as well. So we'll head back out for the second half, I think, with that particular 11. We are actually edging Arsenal in terms of possession in that first period. They certainly have done more with possession than we have managed to. However, again, it's not like we've failed to create opportunities in that first period. I think we've caused Arsenal almost as many problems as they've caused us. It's just Arsenal have defended a little better, I would say. Leao beats Chalobah. Big save, Dean Henderson. Leao is just unreal. So difficult to defend against. It's going to be Leao to take the corner. Does go short to Marcus Edwards, though. Who takes Daichi Kamada to the touchline. Who twists, turns, gets a little bit of space. He's still going, Marcus Edwards. Nobody able to put the foot in. And as usual, it's so difficult in those situations, because if you try to put a foot in and fail, you could well be giving away a penalty. Dean Henderson with another big save. He's been an ever-present over the course of the series. The shot probably going wide. Ødegaard to deliver. Chalobah gets something on it, but it is Maxence Lacroix who hooks clear off the line. Dean Henderson again caught in no man's land. That's really been his one detriment, his one weakness over the course of the series. An excellent shot stopper. But as we saw in the Manchester United game, and Leao even beats Davidson in the air. Another big save from Dean Henderson. As we saw in the United game, and as we have seen numerous times throughout the series, does get caught in no man's land when crosses, free kicks are lofted into the area. Leif Davis, we certainly have seen that complacency from him in today's game. So I will certainly be looking to avoid allowing players to become complacent in the future. Maybe it's just a coincidence, but it was something I noticed heading into the game, and we have noticed a handful of... and another one. How is Leif Davis leaving that? It's a ball played perfectly into his path, and it would have been ideally positioned for him to just cross that first time. And he just leaves it for Adam Wharton. To be fair, Wharton is the captain. Maybe he called him off. Abraham in the box. Turns it towards goal. Again, not enough on the header to really test Kepa. Good challenge in the air, but apparently it's going to be an Arsenal free kick. And what that is for, I have no clue. Absolutely no idea. Dayashimi wins the header this time. Kamada turns away from Ødegaard. Koleosho being a little quiet in today's game, but he will have the pace to beat Tierney. And is Kamada offside? He is. I was hoping Kamada had just held his run enough there for Koleosho to find him. And it's going to be a Crystal Palace free kick. We will certainly take it. Potentially Tierney left one on Koleosho there after he'd got the pass away. And how have we got nobody running into that area? Lacroix does enough to hold off Edwards and find Chalobah. If Davis on the left finds Adam Wharton, and Constantelius inside. Leif Davis on the overlap, but it's a poor pass from Constantelius. Wharton once more. Kamada, and there's Davis stepping up into that midfield area, and we will slip the ball through for Luca Koleosho, who pulls it back across goal. Leif Davis couldn't quite control it, couldn't get the shot away first time. Kepa couldn't handle it either, though. Oh, and he's just played a little reverse pass to his centre-back there to absolutely kill the danger of the press. It's a good ball out towards Leao. Oh, and that's outrageous. And that's really poor defending from Chalobah, and it's 3-1. All at 6s and 7s at the back. Once I made one poor decision, one mistake, that dominoed into another, and then another. Pulled one player out of position, had to bring another player into cover, lunged in for the challenge with that player, which just allowed Rafael Leao to square it to Diogo Jota, who's had a fantastic game, grabs his second goal, and we are very much on the back foot now. Whilst it was 2-1, you maybe would have fancied us to nick a goal and get back in this game again. But now that Arsenal have grabbed the third, it's going to be very difficult for us to come back. Leif Davis finds Adam Wharton. Oh, it's such a poor pass. It's just a simple pass. He's literally like 2 yards away. And Koleosho can't quite find Kamada. I think we'll make more changes next time the ball goes out of play. Well cut out by Ndayishimiye. But the heaviest touch I've ever seen for absolutely no reason. Gifts the ball back to Arsenal. It's a good challenge by William Davidson, though. Daichi Kamada spots Constantelius, and it is a pinpoint pass. Constantelius gets the shot away. 3-2, game on. Game on. Little over 20 minutes left in the game. What a pass from Daichi Kamada. Put it on a plate for Constantelius, who took a perfect touch. Took several perfect touches, to be fair, but the first on his chest was unreal. And then fires across Kepa into the far corner to make it 3-2. And we are back in this game once again. So just the one additional change as Leif Davis does leave the field. So we have two new fullbacks. William Davidson on one side, Roscoe Torres on the other. No additional changes just yet, though. Tammy Abraham, probably the next player to leave the field, is slightly tired at this point. Great save, get rid. Dude, just about managed to get rid. Marcus Edwards. Nice little reverse pass in behind Roscoe Torres. It's a good block from Maxence Lacroix, though. Adam Wharton lingers on the ball, but doesn't on this occasion. Finds Daichi Kamada. So Tammy Abraham a little fatigued at this point of the game, is also on a booking, and beyond that goal hasn't made too much of an impact. So I think Lucas Stassen will make an appearance at some point here today. Roscoe Torres in behind Marcus Edwards. He can find Tammy Abraham in the box, though, and he levels it up, possibly with one of his final actions in the game. Tammy Abraham fires a leveller past Kepa, and it's 3-3. What an FA Cup final. Another perfect touch on the chest. This time from Tammy Abraham, taking a leaf out of Constantelius' book. And the last two rounds, not the last two rounds actually, we beat Brighton 3-0 in the semi-final, but the 2 rounds before that, both went to penalties. We obviously won both of those penalty shootouts. So perhaps it's just going to be a competition of penalty shootouts for us. We will try and grab the winner in the regulation 90. If we don't manage to do that, we will, of course, try and grab the winner in extra time. But our confidence in penalty shootouts has taken a massive boost over the course of this competition. So I think we fancy ourselves, if we do need to go to penalties. Davidson. It's a good run from Tammy Abraham. It's a poor pass from Davidson. He was under duress from Martin Ødegaard, to be fair. But do we even bring Tammy Abraham off now? The longer he stays on, the more tired he's going to become. And of course, he does have that booking. Not like this. Good save. Good save, Dean Henderson. Edwards gets there first, but gives the ball to Roscoe Torres. And he will be able to sprint clear on this left-hand side. And he will be able to cut inside. It's a great challenge from Tchouaméni, though. Torres just a little unsure what to do with the ball. And thankfully, Diogo Jota is offside. Arsenal to make another change. And it's going to be Kingsley Coman on the right-hand side. And I think since we had to make that change with Daniel Munoz earlier in the game, I think we will continue with this 11 for the remainder of the 90. Constantelius in behind. Cuts. Doesn't cut inside. Gives us a great challenge from Conor Bradley, and now it's Constantelius who stays down. We've already lost a right back. Have we lost a left winger as well? It's Wilf Zaha, the man on the bench, who would replace him. No Ismaila Sarr. No Malcolm Ebiowei. As Dean Henderson tips over. And we may be forced into those final changes of the game after all, as Guirassy comes on to replace Diogo Jota. So things not getting any easier for us as we approach the final moments of the game. Jota with 9 shots today. Abraham goes down in the box. He doesn't pick up an injury designation, though, like Constantelius has. It is clear by Ndayishimiye. To the feet of the injured Constantelius. Doesn't seem to be holding him back too much, though. Skips away from Ødegaard. Plays the ball into the path of Daichi Kamada. Roscoe Torres. Drives. Finds Constantelius, who gets the shot away and hits the bar. I thought that was destined for the top corner. What an effort with Constantelius. With his last action of the game. Hits that postage stamp. So we will make our final 3 changes that we have access to in this regulation 90. Tammy Abraham does make way. As does Constantelius, as does Daichi Kamada. So it's Lucas Stassin, it's Wilf Zaha, and it's Andreas Pereira on to replace them. So we are, unlike Arsenal, we don't have access to the same calibre of player on the bench as we have in our starting 11. Marcus Edwards out, Kingsley Coman on. It's not really a downgrade in terms of talent. Diogo Jota for Guirassy the same. But when we are bringing off the likes of Daichi Kamada and bringing on the likes of Andreas Pereira, when we're bringing on the likes of 74 overall Wilf Zaha, we certainly do take a significant downgrade in talent. But we don't have a lot of choice this late in the game. There are some tired legs out there. Pereira. Adam Wharton shapes to shoot from range. Forces a save from Kepa. We are asking questions of Arsenal. Deep into the game. Approaching the full-time whistle. And Wharton will put the corner in. Head is clear by Tierney. Wilf Zaha. I just want to get the ball into the box. Ndayishimiye, I think can't quite win the header, but it will go out for another corner. We will continue to pressure Arsenal as we enter the 5th, or as we enter rather 5 minutes of extra time. That's such an unreal shot. Such an unreal shot. I think I want Pereira to take this corner, actually. And I think we'll get Kepa under a bit of pressure. We will crowd him. Pereira delivers. It's a poor corner. And Ødegaard nods it down. Arsenal, though, go backwards. Guirassy brings the ball forward, though. Ødegaard. I think you have to fancy Arsenal in extra time. I think the longer the game goes, without hitting penalties, I think the more you have to fancy Arsenal. You have to fancy them. It's like a... Oh my God, I thought that was in. I thought that was in for a minute. It's like a boxing match. You fancy the pure boxer the longer the game goes. But until you get to round 12, the big puncher does have a chance. So I think you've got to fancy Arsenal the longer the game goes in extra time. But I think if we make it to penalties, like that big puncher, we could land a blow with one of the final actions of the game. And of course, a penalty shootout would be the final action of the game. So it's going to be 3-3. An unreal FA Cup final. What a game for the neutral. So we do have one final substitution available to us. We won't be using that just yet, though. It's a poor pass. As we immediately gift possession to Arsenal. Just looking for Koleosho on the right-hand side there. Leao can't get the beating of Adam Wharton on this occasion. And Chalobah gives it straight to Leao. And it's Guirassy, thankfully, gives it straight back to Trevor Chalobah, who somehow finds Wilf Zaha on the left-hand side. That was just a clearance. But we found our left winger. We found Lucas Stassen too. And it's too much on the pass. We need to settle things down here at the start of the extra time period. Because those were a couple of really loose passes in our defensive third that could have cost us the game. Could have cost us a place in Europe. Could have cost us our job. We are, of course, playing for our job here today. Not only for that place in Europe, but if we fail to win this game and qualify for Europe... Oh my God, it's Arsenal that have hit the bar. It's the same bar that Constantelli has hit. And we do manage to find Luca Koleosho. And it was a good run from Lucas Stassen, but he stopped. Davidson, up in support. Just drives into the Arsenal box, pulls it back across goal. Pereira will nod it down for Wharton. He will find Wilf Zaha, who gets the shot away. Does fall for Wharton and then Zaha eventually once more. Roscoe Torres lifts it up towards Lucas Stassen. And Wharton will find Koleosho. Andreas Pereira. William Davidson once more. Pereira in a bit of space. Finds Koleosho. And Koleosho can drive. Can pull it back for Stassen. It's good positioning from the Arsenal defender though. Roscoe Torres. Another opportunity to put the ball into the box. Doesn't take it. We of course don't have Tammy Abraham on the field anymore. And the crowd wanted Andreas Pereira to shoot there. Perhaps I should have. As the ball does go out for a throw-in. Davidson. Roscoe Torres on the far side. Pinpoint pass from Davidson. And again it's put into the box, but we don't have the players in the box anymore. Particularly Tammy Abraham. Does fall for Pereira though, and it is going to be Roscoe Torres once again to pull it back across goal, and somehow it sticks to the Arsenal defender. How that stuck to his foot there, I have no idea. Torres a yard away from him, put a lot of power on the cross, and it doesn't bounce off the Arsenal defender as he makes the block, but it just absolutely sticks to his toe. Henderson can't find Zaha. And the first period of extra time is almost over. And Coman thankfully is offside. So we are creeping towards penalties here in the FA Cup final. Torres will venture forward. I don't think we need to press it too much here at the end of the first period of extra time. I think we just allow it to run out, and we do. The referee's half-time whistle sounds again. And I think we'll make that final change as we head out for the second half of extra time. And I think it's going to be Joe Bellingham to come on and to try and make a difference. So it is Joe Bellingham to come on for the second period of extra time. However, it was Maxence Lacroix who made way. So Youssef Ndiashimi has dropped into the back line for the second period of extra time alongside Trevor Chalobah. Adam Wharton has dropped into that CDM role. That's a big block by Chalobah. Roscoe Torres can't win the header. Arsenal trying to win this game. Big save by Dean Henderson. William Davidson hooks clear. Oh, and it's right into the path of Koleosho. And Pereira can break here. And Lucas Stassin is through on goal with a chance to win it in extra time and buries it. 4-3 Crystal Palace. The dream is not dead. We are a goal up in the FA Cup semi-final. Oliver Glasner is in amongst the celebrations. Again wearing the funeral suit. But again, we may have to take it off and save it for another day because we may well be getting a fourth season. Lucas Stassin absolutely buries it. There's the 82 finishing for you. Absolutely buries it past Kepa. And all we need to do is hang on for 10 minutes and we will win this game. The thing is, we can't really drop into our defensive game plan because that drops the back line way too deep. It's far too conservative. What a challenge. Andreas Pereira. Lucas Stassin picks the ball up. It's Luca Koleosho outside him, and we will take the ball into the corner. I am not too proud to do this with 10 minutes to go in the game. Joe Bellingham. He's got De Jong for company. De Jong can't win it though. Luca Koleosho. And we will take the ball into the corner once more. And we will take a corner as Koleosho drives towards the byline. Big challenge from Kieran Tierney though. And this is exactly what we brought Lucas Stassin in for. Very, very different player from Tammy Abraham. Very much complementary skill sets. Tammy Abraham, the big, powerful target forwards, and we will take another corner. Lucas Stassin, more of the poacher. But it's been goals from both of them that have allowed us to not only stay in this game in the first period, but to come back in this game in the second and potentially to win this game in extra time. Koleosho finds Stassin, who secures it. It's 5-3. It's 5-3. It's a brace from Tammy Abraham and a brace from Lucas Stassin that surely wins us the game. Arsenal thought we were just going to run out the clock. Luca Koleosho slips by Kieran Tierney, pulls it back across goal. And it was Lucas Stassin first to the ball with a sliding challenge to poke the ball home. Unreal scenes at Wembley. We've come from 3-1 down to lead 5-3 here in the FA Cup final. Absolutely unbelievable. We could well finish top half in the Premier League as well. What a season this has turned out to be. Absolutely unreal. Somebody called it in the comments several episodes ago. What, 5 episodes ago? Let's not concede here. Good block. Get reared. Davidson, wake up! Arsenal grab one back. Ødegaard puts it in the back of the net. Davidson just... We needed to clear the ball there. Davidson just allows it to bounce. Ødegaard in acres of space. Pulls one back for Arsenal and it's 5-4. I will decline to finish the sentence that I had begun just before that goal went in because I'm nervous now. Adam Wharton. And Ndiashimi. Roscoe Torres on the far side. Again, we just want to get the ball in the corner. Joe Bellingham will look to do that. Loses out. It's Tchouaméni. And it's Kingsley Coman on the right-hand side. We are now into extra time. What a challenge that is in Daishimi. Clear it away, Roscoe Torres. In search of Koleosho. Finds Pereira. And Koleosho will be able to take it into the corner. And we will be able to see out these 3 minutes of added time. So I was about to say before that Arsenal goal went in, somebody called it in the comments about 5 episodes ago. They said it's going to take a real Cinderella story for us to get season 4. But I guess the slipper fits. Because that's exactly what we are going to get. Andreas Pereira. Luca Koleosho. 3 minutes of added time are up. If we just go back to Dean Henderson, the referee will blow his whistle, and he does. And somehow, when all looked lost, when we were dead and buried, when our season was over, when Oliver Glasner was on his way out of Selhurst Park, somehow we have found a way to qualify for Europe against the odds. Absolutely unreal. No way we could have done it in the Premier League. No way we could have done it by winning the Carabao Cup and qualifying for the Conference League, because we were knocked out of that competition in the early stages. But we are going to qualify for Europe after all, and it is going to be as winners of the FA Cup. We had our chance to do this last season, and we were beaten by Liverpool. We've had a second bite of the cherry, and we've managed to get it over the line on this second occasion. So Trevor Chalobah has stolen the armband from Adam Wharton, and he will lift the trophy. The Palace fans jubilant. The Palace players just as much. William Davidson and Roscoe Torres certainly played their part when they came on. Wilf Zaha wins a trophy with Crystal Palace as well, of course. Back for a second stint at Selhurst Park. A second, a third, a fourth. Kind of lose track of what happened when he was at United, back and forth between Crystal Palace, but a second permanent stint at Selhurst Park at the very least. And everybody is now complacent. Trevor Chalobah, Tammy Abraham, Daichi Kamada. I even tried humbling Trevor Chalobah, and I'll do the same here with Daichi Kamada, but everybody's just buzzing, despite the negative comments. So I'm not sure if we'll be able to ride the high of winning a trophy into these final 2 games of the season, or whether we're just going to be complacent and fail to get results, but we are still looking to finish in the top half. So no Daniel Munoz for our next game against Newcastle. He's out with a bruised shoulder. Giannis Konstantelius has unfortunately suffered a hyperextended knee, so he'll be out for 4 weeks and the remainder of the season. So Trevor Chalobah will move out to right back for this one. Chris Richards coming in to centre back to replace him. We do manage a point, a late Luca Koleosho equaliser, cancelling out Anthony Gordon's opener. And so we will round out Season 3 with a final home fixture against Luton Town. And we absolutely smashed them. What a way to finish the season. Not only an FA Cup victory, but also a 5-0 win in the final game of the season at home. So Daichi Kamada grabs 2 goals. Malcolm Ebiowei grabs 2 goals, and Ismail Assar grabs 1 as well. And that victory does mean we just about sneak into the top half. 2 points ahead of Aston Villa in 10th position on 57 points. Spurs in 9th, West Ham, Brighton, Newcastle, and then your top 5 is Manchester City absolutely running away with the league. Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea round out the top 4. And then Manchester United managed to finish 5th. We did, of course, win the FA Cup, and it was Tottenham Hotspur who beat Liverpool in the final of the Carabao Cup. In terms of final statistics, Tammy Abraham scored 23 goals this season, 2 assists. Giannis Konstantelius got 20 goal contributions himself, 14, including 10 goals for Daichi Kamada. Lucas Stassin came up with 10 goals and an assist in 17 games. He needs to play more next season. Koleosho with 16 goal contributions, including 10 assists, just 3 and 9 for Adam Wharton, 3 and 2 for Bellingham, who had a slightly disappointing year. Couple of goals for Sarr, for Leif Davis, for George Haig out on loan is not fantastic. And then a couple of goals as well for Francois, for Pereira, for Zaha, for Ebiowei, and then single goals for a number of players as well. And speaking of goals, this absolute screamer from Leif Davis one goal of the season. We brought him in to be a danger from crosses and set pieces, but he can certainly let fly from outside the box as well. A number of the goals were fairly similar, but what I think sets this one apart is the style points for going in off the post. As for the other awards, Tammy Abraham didn't quite manage to match his output from last season, but that didn't stop him from winning Fans Player of the Season again. And it was Trevor Chalobah who managed to come away with Manager's Player of the Season after leading a much improved back four, whilst Lucas Stassin really came on towards the end of the season with 11 goal contributions in just 17 games, earning him Young Player of the Season. And as for our custom objectives, despite a very positive end to the season, we actually didn't fare particularly well, achieving only one objective, which was to utilize 3 different tactical systems this season. We failed to concede fewer than 50 goals in the Premier League, conceding 53. We failed also to score more than 10 goals from set pieces. Tammy Abraham narrowly missed out on matching his output from last year, and Joe Bellingham just missed out on achieving his objective as well, developing by only 1 overall this season. We did, of course, have one final objective, which was to qualify for a European competition, which we, of course, did manage to achieve with that FA Cup win. So that means Oli Glasner does get to keep his job at Selhurst Park. However, we will not be there to see how he and Crystal Palace fare in the Europa League next season. We are going to be moving on to a new series. It was difficult to decide whether to do a 4th season with Crystal Palace or whether to move on. However, I am excited and motivated to begin a new series. I want to get back to using Buzzco's Core DNA companion tool, and if we start a new series, we will have access to all of the fixes to the bugs and the issues that have dropped in updates since we started this series right at the beginning of the year. Plus, it's very unlikely that we would win the Europa League next season, so this way we do leave Crystal Palace on a high with a trophy in the cabinet. We leave Crystal Palace in a marginally better place than when we inherited them, still very much a mid-table club, but at least they'll now be a mid-table club with a trophy in their cabinet and some ink in their passports. So we finally get to open the Enigma Football mystery box. I've been itching to know what is inside this box, not just so I can find out who the career mode team that we'll be using is, but just because it's been Christmas. I've been in the present opening mood. So shout out again to Enigma Football for sponsoring, for providing the shirt, for choosing our next career mode team. Enigma Football do provide a little information card with the name of the team on. So I'm actually going to open it without looking at that, because I think it's going to be a little more dramatic to try and work it out from the shirt alone, or try and open it with you. And it is clear straight away. It is Borussia Dortmund. We've got what looks to be this season's Borussia Dortmund home kit, I believe. But it's yellow and it's black. It has the distinctive club crest. And I tell you what, I am very pleased with that. I think Dortmund are going to be a really fun team to work with. There is a lot of packaging in here.
Several days later.
And inside the shirt too, apparently. Dortmund, a club that do not care about the environment, we have learned today. Beautiful home kit. I believe that's this season's. I will double check. I'm not 100% sure it will show you anywhere. It may do on the tag. Doesn't say 2024-25 anywhere. But I'm pretty sure that's this season's home kit. Yeah, really nice looking one. And like I said, I think Dortmund, a really fun club. They've got a lot of really good young players. Players we've actually looked at in the Crystal Palace save from time to time. But they're known as a team that generate a lot of homegrown talent, that have just wonder kids coming through the ranks. Almost an endless supply. So we will certainly lean into that in the career mode save. And we are also going to be using Buzzco's Core DNA companion tool. So we will lean into that in how we set up the Core DNA skill tree as well. I think it's going to be a really fun one. Shout out to Enigma Football once more for not only providing the shirt, but for choosing the team Borussia Dortmund as well. So I hope you've enjoyed the Crystal Palace career mode series. I certainly have. Probably, hopefully, not one of our most successful series in terms of trophies won, but probably one of our most realistic. Mid-table finish every season, and just as it looks as though we're going to take that next step, we completely capitulate, and it was false hope all along. And I'm not sure there's anything more Crystal Palace than that. So that'll do it for this episode and for this series. I hope to see you in the next one with Borussia Dortmund. Take it easy.